Thanks everyone again for joining us for another WKS interview podcast. This time I'm with Kelsey Michael. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Yeah, pretty good,
Good.
pretty good. Would you like to start off by telling the viewers a little bit about, you know, how you got into music in the first place?
Yeah, I got into music through theatre. So I was a physical theatre performer, often in music theatre actually. So it started off with soundtracks and then singing came into it, and I started singing live. I worked with a company called Insomniac Productions,
Hmm.
also Hoodwink, who are based near Poole in Dorset, and Christine Atwhistle, various different companies, quite an experimental sort of side to theatre. And I started writing as well when I was in that world.
Okay, so are you predominantly a singer, or do you play an instrument as guitar or something?
Well, I write the songs on piano,
Okay.
and I used to just write them on piano, and then somebody else would play it and I'd forget how to play it. So I couldn't really play my own songs. But
Yeah.
I decided to kind of really work on that and try and tread in the footsteps of that piano songwriting tradition
Okay.
of women writers like Laura Nyro, Carole King, um, Aretha Franklin,
Okay.
amazing piano players and fantastic writers. And so I've done a lot of listening and
Mm.
just absorbing it into what I already had, which was quite a jazz influenced sort of harmonic palette that I really enjoy. So it's kind
Right.
of coming from that popular music, gospel influenced singer songwriter um, tradition, and also there is jazz in there, although I would never call myself a fully fledged
Okay.
jazz girl.
Right. Fair play. Yeah. Who would you say was sort of been the biggest influence on you musically then?
That's quite a hard one
Mm.
because there's so many people. Um, but I think it probably goes to the jazz that I loved listening to when I grew up because it was around in my house. My dad was a big jazz lover, and I really um, spent a lot of time with Billie Holiday when I was a teenager.
Mm.
So that I think that totally original voice, her phrasing as a singer, the songs she wrote um, were so powerful and talked of the the truth about the black experience in America.
Mm.
So obviously didn't comprehend all of that at that time, but it just really spoke to me, and as did the arrangements of Duke Ellington, the lushness of the brass and the saxophones. And I have arranged my songs for brass in the past,
Mm.
but I'm now distilled into a trio, so I don't have all that
Okay.
extra. Um, and it's nice to be simple in some ways, but it would be lovely to bring it back at some point.
Right. Fantastic. So, have you got music out there at the moment? If so, sort of what platform maybe, and how can people get hold of it or hear you?
Well, I don't really think they can at the moment.
Okay.
So I have got some recordings. I made a couple of albums with a band called Minnow, my sort of songwriting vehicle when I was living in London. I came here in 2003. Um, and I I will probably put those out again, but I want to record the music that I'm making now. I want to get that out there,
Right.
and so I'm hoping by next spring I will have an album that people can buy. But these things take time.
Yes.
I'm learning a lot about recording myself at the moment, and really getting into my own studio, and I'm going to be learning from Robin Tinsdale Biscoe, who's over in Falmouth at the Lemonade Factory studios. So it's going to be a sort of mix and match of doing a bit in his studio, really taking on board microphone placement and microphone choices, and just trying to work out what's right for my music, for my sound, and then coming home and recording vocals and harmonies, and as much as I can do at home as well.
Right.
So I've got some support from Cultivator Cornwall, which is incredible, and we're on that road. The band, we're working really hard to kind of get the songs ready, and we're playing gigs at the moment, and so that's helping a lot.
Yes, yeah. You mentioned the gigs. What have you got coming up then?
Penley Park Theatre.
Right.
That is next, not this Friday, not tomorrow, but the Friday after, and the 16th of July. So
Right.
that we're so looking forward to, because it's home turf and it's such a lovely place to play. There's so much atmosphere there.
Yes, yeah. Myself and my wife, we went to see Boundless Brothers and True Foxes there last week,
Oh yeah.
and it is a great little venue. You can get some amazing sound in there. So
Yeah,
fantastic.
it does sound really lovely actually,
Mm.
and we had a lot of bird song actually last time.
Okay,
Almost kind
right.
of seemed like they were joining in.
Brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant, superb. How did you find musically your writing? How did you find the lockdown affected you? Because some people I've interviewed have said they were extremely productive, more than ever, and some say it's just nothing happened for them.
In the very first lockdown, I completely let go of everything. It felt
Mm,
like this is an extraordinary time. It's a very
mm,
difficult time, but I did have my whole family at home, so it really felt like a good time to just cook nice meals
yeah.
and try and make the most of being together, and take that walk every day, and um, spend a lot of time in the garden, because it was
Mm,
incredible, wasn't it? Incredible
mm,
weather.
mm,
I think that stood me in good stead, that letting go to create space. Having said that, I was also um, working with my choir, Land and Sea Singers, on Zoom. So
okay.
it wasn't a complete let go. And that was really enjoyable for all of us, because we were connecting each week,
Mm,
and we did some songwriting together actually, and a song came out of it called Love from a Distance, which will be played next Friday at Penley Park.
okay.
And it's a kind of conversation about between somebody who's isolating at home, not going out at all on their own, and somebody who's out there taking the bus to a shift in a hospital, or a frontline worker who's really busy, and
Mm,
in that other reality, because there were those two completely different experiences, weren't there?
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, lots of space in that first lockdown, and some creativity with people in the community, and then after Christmas, after a lot of Zoom singing,
Mm,
I just felt a little burnt out from it. So I decided to let go of everything again, and see what happened. And what happened was that I ended up finding a venue with a piano, a really nice piano in Penzance, and just going and playing, and
wow.
just coming down just back to me. So there was some songwriting, and I don't know if you live in Penzance, or if you were
Yeah, I
aware
live
of.
in Penzance. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you must have been aware of the starlings then,
Yes. Yeah.
murmurating every night. That was just so strange. It was, because there's never been that many, I don't think,
Yeah.
before,
Yeah. It
and
was odd to see.
it felt like they were just keeping us going somehow. And
Mm,
also that demonstration of creatures working together like perfect harmony, that really struck me. And I
Mm.
loved the fact that people were there in their pockets, maintaining distance from each other, just quietly watching, and sharing something together.
Yeah.
It was quite beautiful.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
so there's a song that's come out of that called "The Chattering Tree," and another. There's quite a few bird songs actually, and there was also, while all that was going on, all that crazy cacophony with the starlings, there were doves just sitting there underneath,
Right.
just quietly.
Yeah.
So there were two very contrasting songs. One about the starlings and fabulous sort of aerodynamics, and one about the quiet doves. Um, so I enjoyed writing those very much, and
Yeah. Well, it
just seeing
seems.
what came really.
Yeah, it seems that the songs you've mentioned, that almost are they polar opposites almost? When you're saying you've got the person that's sort of isolated, and the person, the worker, that's going out constantly. Then you've got the whirling and the whirring of the starlings and the quietness of the doves. Is that a theme that you've had for a while?
No, not really. That's a very astute observation, and I hadn't thought of that.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, well, I had thought about those contrasts, but I hadn't in those particular songs, but I hadn't thought about it as a theme
Mm.
running through my work. I think the main thing is that I tend to write about a
Right.
place, um, wherever I am. When I was in London, I was writing songs about the the atmosphere at twilight in New Cross,
Right.
and when I went to Australia. My dad was Australian. I was writing songs about the outback. It's always place and somehow
Yeah.
how people fit into that place, and quite a lot about nature, a
Yeah.
lot about a lot about the sea and about the creatures that inhabit this amazing place, Penwith.
Fascinating stuff. Absolutely fascinating. So, okay, what do you reckon is the best bit of musical advice you've ever been given?
Probably a friend of mine, a musician, who said, "Look at yourself every day in the mirror and say, I'm a singer." When I was just starting out, and I'd been doing the physical theatre and dance as well, and I needed to make that shift, and I had to sort of say, this is what I am, this is who I
Mm.
am. So I think, and just um, I think that stood me in good stead, because although it's not big bucks, I am making my living from singing
Mm.
in one form or another. So I'm really happy about that.
Brilliant. Absolute superb. If you could, you know, um, any artists or whatever, past or present, that you would love to collaborate with, who do you think you'd go for?
Hmm. That's really hard. Um, well, I think I'm going to go for now, the here and now. I'm collaborating with Angeline Morrison. She's a really inspiring singer and songwriter up in Mount Hawke, who I've seen perform a number of times. Um, and I used to run songwriters' nights at the Acorn Fruit Tree Songwriters Writers' Nights, and twice
Right.
she performed at one of those. So I kind of got really interested in her work, which combines kind of folk with roots and soul and R&B and her Jamaican heritage, and it's a really interesting mixture of stuff. So Angeline sang at the last gig we did with me, and it was a really, really lovely experience. I think to kind of weave our voices together was really exciting. So she's going to come to Penley Park. That was just confirmed yesterday. And I would like to add another singer at some point and get some three-part female harmony going. We've also Ben Kyprios, who plays the bass in the band. Greg Dyer plays the drums. They're both amazing, and they really understand the music and get it to gel so well. So Ben's been singing some harmony, but have a three-part harmony, girl harmony section. I think that's what I'd like to do, and that's what I'd like to hear in the music next.
Superb.
Bit like Laura Nyro and La Belle.
Brilliant.
That is an inspiration. So yeah.
Okay.
I think
Superb.
that's the answer to that question.
Lovely. Right, final question for you. And everybody gets this question. Is there anybody you would like to thank for you being here musically now?
Well, probably my dad, I think, because he listened to music every hour of the day practically, and I absorbed so much, and there was so much around, and sadly he didn't get to see me perform as a singer. He saw some of the theatre and dance, but I know he would have been really supportive and made up. I think he would have been made up that I get out there singing. So I think
Brilliant.
Thanks, Dad, for all the music.
Superb. Kelsey, look, thank you so much for giving me the time of the interview. Absolutely wonderful, fascinating stuff. So and good luck.
It's really nice to do it.
Brilliant. Good luck for the, did you say the 16th at Penley, was it?
16th of July at Penley Park, yeah.
Yeah. Well, good luck for that and any other venture that you go on.
Well, we'll let you know when we've got the album.
Brilliant. Lovely.
All right,
you take care.
Thanks, Craig.
All right. Bye.
Bye.